Okay, so we finished the last one and we were on magnetism and being able to conduct and manifest reality by working with the higher forces, supernatural forces that reside externally and internally. So the way that magnetism works, magnetism is in alignment with feeling and sensation. It is also in alignment with heat. It has been said that magnetism is aligned with animal heat, which we will have a look at. Right. So it is aligned with feeling and sensation, which is why I speak about this ultra sensitive field. Yeah, that is why it is in alignment with. Our field is ultra sensitive. Yeah, we also have. There's also weak magnetic fields. Yeah, that are also aligned with increasing. They can be applied using transcranial magnetism. Yeah, but weaker fields, weaker frequencies. Yeah, that also increase our ability to learn. Yeah, because what they'd be doing is we'd be triggering the hippocampus to do that. So the more sensitive we get, and the more that we can feel, is the more magnetism that is available to us. Now, magnetism is conducting all of life in the background quietly that we don't know about. But everything is in alignment with magnetism. Now, what magnetism then does, because it's fluidic forces that we cannot see with our visible eyes, it is doing things that we would perceive to be far out of our reach. Yeah, which is why it's anything that is working outside of that physical plane. Outside of that physical plane is doing that. Yeah. So what that means is this is like a fluidic force. Now I'm going to explain how it works, because there is two types of the magnetic fluid that works within. Yeah. There is two types of that magnetic fluid. In actual fact, there is three polarities to it. Yeah. That it works within, that it works with. Yeah. It's the way in which it works. So when we are desensitized, which most people are, their magnetism is not available to them, because their magnetism is in a stuck state. They cannot see anything. They cannot see anything because they're stuck within deep density, right? But it's not that they're stuck within deep density. They are stuck within a polarity of magnetism, yeah, that doesn't allow them to feel in the correct way as what they should be. Over lengthy periods of what we call time, that then diminishes itself into falsity. Yeah? And it also diminishes itself into dysfunctional sensitivity, where we become bothered about silly little things that don't even matter. That is what's happened. And then this is how other occultist sorcerers are able to tune into these little things, and that's where you get your OCDs and all these things from. Because what happens is all is working in a paradox situation. So although the field is ultra sensitive, it's also a shield of divinity. Although the dysfunctional sensitivity aligned with the positive red pole of magnetism, which is dying, yeah. Although it is heavy and right, they are also suffering with a sensitivity, which is a dysfunctional sensitivity now. Yeah, a dysfunctional sensitivity where they are become bothered. Yeah, like, oh, there's people talking about me. There's this, there's that. Yeah, that's why they do this. The people, they do this gossiping. It's all in alignment with what we call imperfection. All in alignment with what we call imperfection. But this is how we get a sphere of infinity. If you see the king here, this is the sphere of infinity. There. That is the sphere of infinity that you can see here, right? Now, he has it on his chest because now he's the conductor of universal wisdom. And he has his maturity. All of the kings throughout, if you go all the way back, all of the sun gods, etc., you will always see them with a beard to symbolise maturity. Father Christmas had a beard, yeah, symbolise maturity, which is Odin, yeah. Again, you see he has a double-edged sword here. he's now in command of both spirit and matter. Yeah, what's happened to the king? Yeah, the king of clubs met death in victory, right? He's met his death in victory, in matter, but he's done it in matter, right? So he's risen above the matter state in order to do that. By doing so, he now becomes master of Father Time and the Maiden, because he now begins to realize, see, this is the hourglass, yeah, the time, yeah, is an illusory action based upon the right hand raw movement, yeah, of the movement of this field, yeah. That's how that works. Once you begin to master that, then we begin to realize that she's always forever present in that particular now moment. So all is always available to us right now, yeah. And then what happens also with the Jack here, with the knave, yeah, he learns to leave the past, and he then learns to go for tomorrow, which will lead him into the now. But he's holding in his hand the figure of 8. This is the figure of 8, which is the hourglass. He did a lot of work on this previously. This is the hourglass shape here. See, a Q figure of 8 as an hourglass, right? And he's holding it in his hand. This is the place of where we live. Yeah, this is the level of ignorance. They can do this. Remember that these cards that are being used here have been used for the mega amount of vices over the years. So you can see the level of ignorance. So it was only in the 1360, again, 1, 3, 13s, 1s and 3s always. That's how she's going to continually keep moving through magic. Yeah, that's when it came into Europe in 1360. Yeah, it went into, I think it was a Chinese emperor was using cards, and to begin with, and then it moved over into Egypt. And in Egypt, what did they do? There was just 4 cards. 4 cards, yeah. And then now you have your 4 suits, yeah. It's always going to be working. We're always going to be working around those 4s. That's how that's going to go. So that sphere of infinity, yeah. You will see that. We're going to see that in a second, right? Because you got that. We got the sphere of infinity here. So you see here, right? So the way that it works, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These are these here are the ruling planets, right? These are the 7, right? This represents the spirit, and this is the matter. Then what happens here is we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. This plane here, that's the last one, is the 6th. You see that plane there? If you spin it around, you will also get the same on reverse. That will then give you this 6 plus another 6, which will give you your 12 angles of light, which gives you this field here. That field is conducted by this 3, by this triune 3 here. And the top, you may have seen this symbol before. This is the heavily masonry, higher degrees of masonry, you would see that, right? So then you have this is the infinity. So you see, you have the 3 here, right? Now, that 3 there is the club here. That's the club there. Now, the club will mostly be associated up here, up high at 12 o'clock. Because once we get to 12 o'clock up high, we've got spirit, matter, and so we've got a triune of all 3, yeah? Once we get that triune of all 3, then we can access a state of perfection. Once those 3 energies are in the perfect alignment and balance, yeah? That is the way that would work. In March of St. Patrick's Day, they have March here. So they have the club here, right? But we're going to look at that because I've got, you see, on here, and here, we have St. Patrick's Day on that one, there, right? But St. Patrick did a 40-day fast. Did a 40-day fast, and he went back to London at 22. But when he did his 40-day fast, there was a situation where he was chasing some serpents away. He chased serpents away. Now, in the last presentation, I was talking about the Indo-Europeans. I was talking about the Foi de Dawn. Yeah, I was talking about, those Celts, but the serpent people, yeah, along with magnetism, Danu, fluidic waters, yeah. And what he did, he chased the serpent away. What is the serpent? The serpent is the same fluidic force that I'm speaking about, that I'm working with, that we're working with, that needs to be worked with. Yeah, it needs to be worked with, but it's in alignment with your sex. But it's also the queen here. She's the queen here. There. Right? Now, this particular queen here holds a candle. Right? Holds a candle. All of the other queens, they don't hold any candles. They just hold the flower, look. There's the flower. You see, there was the flower. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In the center of that 8, you'll find the 9th. You'll find the 9th, yeah? So you're always going to, that's always going to be what? Perfect number for gestation. 9 will take you straight back to 0. If you go with if you have a compass, you'll get your 360. As soon as you get to 360, what happens next? Straight back to 0, yeah? So that's where we are. It's all one clean loop, yeah? It's all one never-ending loop, one never-ending cycle. And this here is key. This here is key, yeah? So remember, people have been using these cards. They've been using these cards to commit all types of murders, atrocities, and all types of scenarios. Not realizing that the greatest love story ever told was encased within these cards, yeah? Absolutely phenomenal. Remember when we said we came in here, we came in totally perfect. We entered the perfect waters, yeah, of the soul. We came through in a state of total perfection. Came through in that state. Then what happens is the diamond falls, the diamond in the rough. Yeah, we fall due to our animal carnal natures that we become introduced to, due to our contact with matter. Yeah, in ignorance we fall, but the fall must take place because through that pain we gain. We're only going to find gain by recognizing this pain, and we also are a return as well. We also are a return as well as a supreme being when we come through to play this game of falling into dense matter. We chose to play this game of falling into dense matter, but by not recognizing, yeah, the true transcendental metaphysical science, yeah, behind our natural organism, yeah, this then defeats us, and then we remain in falsity. And this is what happens upon this Wheel of Fortune. Now Shakespeare, now that's why you have, it says Shakespeare. Shakespeare was a man who could hardly read and write. It was Francis Bacon, right, who was an occultist, yeah, who was the one that was doing all the writings. He was doing all the writings for Shakespeare, right? He was doing all of those writings, yeah. And then so the name Shakespeare comes from Shakespeare, which comes from the Greek goddess of Athena, yeah, who is connected to Minerva. But anything to do with this feminine is going to be concerning wisdom. It's going to be concerning wisdom. Why wisdom? Because she conceives. So what happens is all of her conquests are done in peace, yeah. And that is why, as the phallic, the masculine energy, as you see with the sword here wielding, yeah, if he has to access this trance state. If he doesn't access this trance state, then he cannot access the true archetype of a true woman, because that true archetype of a true woman is something that you will find, yeah, when we access here in Aquarius here. That is why she's holding this candle here, yeah. Because she's the one that's going to walk us down the valley of death, right? Down that dark river, the river of death, right? But the river of death is she signifies that life never dies. Why does life never die? Because she can never die, because she's 360. She's 360, she's constantly spinning. Recycling. I take, I give. And she gives, and that's why the giver is a 7, yeah? Because that's what's happening with that 7. Remember, I was talking about this zygote cell here. And the zygote cell was a 7, and that is who we are. And that zygote cell is a field, but it also goes from that 7 to the 8. So here, he's 7, but the field itself is giving you the 8. So that is giving you that 7.8, yeah? So that is telling you that you are birthed and you will come from infinite light. So you are forever and a day, constantly. That's what that is actually telling us. In that scenario here, so that's why you have the Shakespeare. But then with Francis Bacon, what happened is, yeah, you'll have to bear with me because I have it all here, right? With Francis Bacon, you see on that board, I did this board here, right? He rewritten the Bible because he wanted to be, he considered himself to be heir of the throne. Wasn't able to do so, yeah. Obviously had talents, yeah, metaphysical talents, occult talents, right? So what he did is he reformed and formed the language that we are using, and this is why now I'm breaking down that language myself and some others. We use syncretism and we break it down, right? And the reason that we break it down is because within it, just as you see within the cards, is the greatest story ever told, which is our supremacy and our supreme divine status is hidden in the most most places you really wouldn't accept, and sometimes the most obscene places you wouldn't expect to find them in. But you see, there's energies that go with this. It's all about the language above words. If a man is sat around, yeah, and you are using man here for these cards, yeah. Now, man in Spanish means dumb ass and stupid person, as we know, right? So the one that puts his all and puts his internal worth, yeah, and uses, yeah, the soul, which is a mercantile as a commodity, yeah, that will always bring that same death to this vendor here, yeah. That's what will always take place. But that death takes place with the vendor here, yeah, because sometimes they recognize here their kingship in the crown, in the head, with the strategy of Aries, right? This is what happens, yeah. And I was saying before about the fleece, yeah, which we're going to look at, yeah, the chrysomalus, right? And because of the polarity in this area here, yeah, and the king here, you see with the axe, yeah, there are energies and luminaries also that position themselves in this area to irradiate a fire, yeah, a fire, and that which they deem is not worthy, because you gain knowledge here. This is your fire in your mind. You gain some knowledge here, but you don't have the full wisdom here. And that's why you see this is always going to be the flame. The flame is always going to represent the fire. That's why when we move up to May here, we have the fire of Bel, which we're going to look at. Yeah, and that's why that works in that particular way. Yeah, so we're just showing that. So that's why here, it's just so funny it happens that you have KJV. But the K, who's the K? Yeah, was the king. Yeah, the V doesn't matter with QV. Our QV, we're always going to get QV, yeah? We're always going to get QV. You see the 8, you see the Q is the 8, yeah? Figure of 8. So, even Queen is going to go straight back to figure of 8, yeah? Because Queen is going to give you 8. That's what Queen is. Queen will give you 8. And that will take you to Nisan, 17. If I go to Nisan 17, if I go into Nisan 17 here, right, then what's going to happen is I'm going to find some interesting stuff, right? So there'll be interesting stuff in the Bible. And in actual fact, what it will do is it will equate to not so much judgment, but it's very conclusive, right? It's even not damning, but it's final. So the things that happen, the things that take place, the things that happen, yep. Here in Nisan 17, which you can see here. So in the Bible, the number 17 symbolizes overcoming the enemy and complete victory. Complete victory. Because she is victorious. See, victory. Yeah. So with the syncretism, you can't really escape it, right? So you see here, right? Jesus gained a complete victory over death and the grave when God resurrected him near sunset. Yeah, there was some other stuff I found on 917 ages ago. Some really, really powerful stuff. I'm going to do it in another video as soon as I put it back up. But there's a lot that I go through. Right. So he was resurrected here. Why is that? Because on this figure of 8, there is no death. That's what it's telling you. There is no death. But he is the knave. The knave here. You are the knave here. This is the Christ. This is you. You are this knave. Right. Yeah. So, right. So it was resurrected him near sunset. Right. Near sunset. This is set here. Set. Sunset. This would be set. Because we're coming straight down, you see, into the full. Yeah? That's how it works. Sunset. Right? Yep. That's a good one, right? 1917, right? And Saturday, right? April 8th, right? So, and if I was to carry on through here, if I carry on and on and on and on, yeah, we'll find loads. We'll find loads. Daniel, yeah, Seven's beast had 7 heads and 10 horns, right? But the 7 heads, they're there. There they are. Yeah, in the sphere of infinity, which you can only gain once you've accessed universal wisdom. And that's why in his chest, he has, you see this 4 emblem here. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, and in the center is the quintessence, which is the plasma state. Yeah, which is the 5th. But you must square your circle, these 4 universal elements first. When the sun, when what we call the sun and the earth, the matter, when they unite, what happens is their sexual interaction gives rise to a 4. That 4, I have them in here. These four elements, right? Those 4, yeah, are the con. That con, that CONH, their vibrational frequency is victory, which is this V. We had it on the last board before. I broke it. I did before with the numerology on that. The CONH, yeah, its value will equate to, yeah, to that straight away. So in here, you probably can see this as much, right? There's amino acids in there, right? There, you can just see that movement. I save them, and then I add them. What I do is that I add them, right? And then I add them into here. So if you've got a field of magnetism, you see, that the forces and the fragrances that are within that field, generating that, we see when you've got a nodal point between 2 supreme fields, supreme entities, you're on one right now. Yeah. So we know how supreme the forces are here. When they come together, their interaction, there's a nodal point. They don't quite kiss. As these 2 points come together, they create a kissing point, right? Yeah. And as that nodal point comes together, this is you could symbolize it here. I could symbolize it there. As these 2, this is what it is here. As these 2 come together, you see there's this nodal point. This is this sexual point. This 0 point in this center point here. That is where all the magic takes place. So from that point happens, this is when you get your elemental forces, such as your CONHs. They come forth and then they bring forth life. Before they are in alignment with the soul. Yeah. So what happens is those amino acids, those CONHs, they feed the soul. They feed the soul directly. This is why when an amino acid then breaks down into physical matter form, it is not the protein that your body is requiring. It is the amino acids behind that is actually required to do the work. Yeah, that's why we have amino acids in our urine, such as things like taurine, which will fire your heart. They fire the heart. This is how it works. So if somebody was having a heart attack or cardiac arrest, we would find there would be low levels of the amino acid taurine. The amino acid taurine is one of the main aminos that you're going to find in your urine. Taurine urine. We've done it before. Yeah. So that's how a lot of that plays out. So we're just talking about how that 8 works. But then what I wanted to do is this. I want to go back into what I was showing here previously. So we were looking at this, the Hopi. There is nothing new under the sun, right? Yeah. Everywhere we're going to keep finding. If you're able to if you do syncretism, if you're able to do syncretism, if not, there's people like myself that does this syncretism, and what we find is we're going to find the same truth going around, and might be a different track and a different day, different feel, different energy, same earth, same truth, same knowledge, same story. Yeah, and this is how it goes. Right. So here, I was reading this previously. I'm going to read the rest of this other bit so it sinks in. Right. The first people in the first world went out with the pristine wisdom granted them and lived in beautiful harmony with their Mother Earth and all its creation. All people understand that their real father was the creator and their real mother, and their real mother was Mother Earth. Here. Right? So, we know, yeah, this is so, we have them clean there. This is the father, yeah, I take, yeah, and this is the mother, I give. Right, now we must remember we are in a patriarch, because here he has the might. He has the might to take. Yeah, he can. I give. He give. He's a giver, the giver and taker. Supreme force and power. Yeah, but you will become oxidized. So this is why I work with oxidative phosphorylation. Oxidative phosphorylation. Yeah, right. And we're going to look at gases here. These are gases. Now these gases here, this is blue flame gases. Blue flame gases. These are her gases. His gases are oxygen. He's 9. That's why he's red. 9. I don't make this up. This is the language above words. He's 9. Yeah. He manifests and he controls this IR heat. He controls death. But he also, what he does is he controls death, and you'll find the word heat hidden in death. Heat and death is in alignment. But animal magnetism is in alignment with this heat. Is in alignment with this heat. You cannot get magnetism without life. Yeah? So death and life and death, I've broken down before. Die is 9. Die will equate to life. Die equates to light. Die means days. Latin, if you go back, you'll see that dies equates to days. And days equates to dews. And dews equates to the farther skies. Right? Which is the light. Yeah? Here. Right. So that's how that works. So if I go all the way back to the Hopi, yeah, they're going to tell you this. Not only are we going to be telling you this, what they're also going to be doing is this, right? I don't want to miss some stuff out here. So there will be stuff that I missed. I'll put it onto the next one, yeah, because a lot of stuff that I'm always showing, right? So what I wanted to see is this Hopi. So here, this is the Hopi. Look, this is their flag. That's the Hopi flag, right? Yeah. Now they go back. Obviously, their civilizations and their history goes all the way back. They still got it. Can you see the plants? See these plants here? So one of the processes in the body, the NADP, yeah, which is providing the body with energy and giving them, make sure the body gets the right enzymes. Remember, I said enzymes need to be at pH 8. So the pH is vital, key. All the alkaline minerals are all working off millivolt charges, which is working with pHs, right? So there is no, if something has a high negative charge, that's it. It is in alignment with life. Done. There's nothing else to it, yeah, because that's how energy works. Energy doesn't deal with lies in any way, shape, or form. So that this Hopi symbol you see here is here. Look, there, the 4, right? Because they know exactly what is what. So when I go back, and that's why you see the plant is on their flag of key importance. There's the green. I would say that these is earth and air, yeah. But again, with certain symbology, you can do different things. But this is what matters. This is what matters here. Hopi, hope. Yeah, hope. We have hope. Right, so what I'm trying to do, where I'm getting at here is that where we are, yeah, there are beings that spend all day, every day, trying to give the impression and insinuation that they are in control of the situation, when in reality, they are not. It doesn't work like that. Okay, so here, all the people understood that their real father was the creator, and you see when they say their real father was the creator and their real mother was Mother Earth, they were made of her flesh as a child of matter, made of her flesh and suckled at her breast. The first people multiplied and spread over the earth. They understood each other without talking. And the same was true in their dealings with the animals and the plants. Once the field expansion once we expand our field, because the reason I'm pausing there is because I'm thinking about the limitless scenario in which that we are currently within. Limitless. It is only in the dense matter state where everything becomes ultra limited, and then they're using this Saturnian field and so on and so forth to do it, which is going to be in a lockdown situation now. Yeah, that's not going to be present anymore, and that's why you have a baby boomer generation of beings who are so heavily engraved in it, yeah, because of the movement of the luminaries at those particular moments when they embarked upon their so-called quest, which would have been a quest. But once we are stuck in falsity, we have no quest no more. We are not in a quest once we're in alignment with these ignorant savages, with these ruffians, because when the field is so diminished, due to the lack of energy, we want to go around and diminish other people's field, as I was saying before. It's a natural mechanism within that wants you to control another. It makes you directly, deliberately want to go and dictate and control others. What do you want to do that for? You're not going to do things like that. Come, let's just go and let's go and have a drink alcohol, right? Let's go to a nightclub. Let's go and do something like that. We don't do things like that. We do things like this, yeah. Alcoholism, negative thing. It's not just that it's negative. It's that it's trying to oxidize you so that you can leave here, yeah, and so that you can be recycled, yeah, and be renewed again, and so you can come back better, yeah. So you can come back towards serving life, yeah, rather than causing harm to the self and others, yeah. So you see it here, it's already here, already there, look, right. And these people, remember, they don't have nothing to do with us, right? And a lot of their land was taken, they knew written on the walls to say that the man would come in, take over the land, right? And he would only have a limited time to do it, probably about 5,000 years, in order to create his new world order and run that new world order, and then his time will be diminished, and he only has a set period of time to do that. What we're witnessing now is the end of that set time, is the end of that time. Now, that's why it looks like this, because that timeline is now diminished and finished. Okay, so it says, they understood each other without talking, and the same was true in their dealings with the animals and the plants. But after time, they began to forget, to respect and honour the Creator. Yeah, they began to use their powers only to satisfy their own pleasures. See, so we have supreme powers. It's here, right? It was at this time that the animals withdrew from the people and became afraid of them. That's why now, when you see an animal, when it sees you, it runs away from you. Especially with birds. I did this before. The birds have the cryptochrome in their eyes. They can see you. They can see the quality of your field, and they can actually sense our intention prior, because everything is in alignment. You see, if we understood the way that magnetism works, we wouldn't allow what we allow, because the magnetism is in alignment with feeling and sensation. So when a bird gets up in the morning and it yawns, just like you do, and it thinks, it yawns, and its initial 5 senses, yeah, are conducted by magnetism, yeah, because everything's coming inwards. So the brain itself, what we call the brain, the mind, the head, the electromagnetic peak, is pulling in. It's like a dielectric pull, and everything, it's pulling life towards it, involuntary, and it's leaving in. And then what's happening is anything that is involuntary is conducted by magnetism. All of the involuntary reactions are conducted by magnetism. Yeah. So when this bird awakens, it yawns. The sun comes into its eyes, and it thinks, "Oh, what a brilliant day it is today! Oh, I wonder what happened to my children. Them children that I had, they've gone out and about now. I've shown them what I need to show them, and now they can go out. They've gone out into nature. They've gone on their own quest. I woke up today. I'm thirsty. Let's go and get some water. These in-depth things, yeah. When they are in alignment with this positive magnetism here, with their own field, is in alignment with just this positive, the red DE, I call it. It's red DE. Red DE, which is word demon. Demon is red DE. But it's all about spirit, because demon is just, it means spirit. Yeah, but it's in alignment with how you are working, choosing to work your spirit field. Yeah, so that's what's happening now, because all is aligned with sensation and feeling. Yeah, means that obviously now all of the animals and everything else is in alignment with that same sensation and feeling. So if they have more sensation and feeling than us, then they have more access to superior higher senses than us, and that's why they have cryptochrome and things in their eyes, and the cats etc. can see more colours than what we can see. They can see outside of the lower visible spectrum, the lower matter plane. There are many planes and polarities within and externally. They can see them more because they are more tethered than what we are at present. Yeah, because we are in this fallen state. But after time, they began to forget to respect and honor the Creator. Yeah, and that's why this happens. And they began to use their powers only to satisfy their own pleasures. It was at this time that the animals withdrew from the people and became afraid of them. The people of different colours and languages also began to draw away from one another. Yeah, the people of different colours and languages also began to draw away from one another. As your field diminishes, this is what starts to happen. Yeah, right. The Creator was not happy with the way things were developing. Yeah, so Satugnan gathered together those people who still remember to follow the way of the Creator. Gathered those people together who still remember to follow the ways of the Creator, and told them to travel to a large mound where the ant people lived. The ant people invited the people to live with them below the earth. See? The ant people invited them to live below the earth. Right, I'm going to show how this is done also, because you head north to do that. Right, Satugnan then destroyed the first world with fire. See, meanwhile, the people learned many useful things. Yeah, living with the wise and hard-working ant people. After the second world was created, the people were allowed to emerge again. Yeah. It was not as beautiful as before, but still very beautiful. So every time this reset keeps taking place, when it comes back, it's less beautiful than it was previously. Yeah? The animals remained wild and kept away from the people. The people began trading. See, I think one of the reasons why the animals keep away from the people, yeah, because of their language above word. Remember, that's just the saying on here. Initially they didn't use this speaking that we use now, which then when you create language like this speaking and you create different languages, that creates the division. But we cause ourselves to be divided due to the lack of energy. Yeah, we actually cause that. We cause that to ourselves. Yeah, right. The ant people invited the people to live with them. Blah 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 blah. Right. After the second world was created, the people were allowed to emerge again, as we stated. Right. It was not as beautiful as before, but still very beautiful. The animals remained wild and kept away from the people. The people began trading and bartering, and soon they became greedy and wanted more and more. Yet they soon forgot to sing praises to the Creator, and instead sang praises to the goods they traded. Yeah, because mercantile, you see, it brings death to the vendor. Like I say, when you make the soul a mercantile commodity, this is what happens. Yeah, trading it for goods, etc. For you see, when this field diminishes, the eyes, yeah, these two dualistic eyes, they start to look outside of the self for the feelings and sensations that reside from the higher echelons of the magnetism, the magnetic fluid that is running within. But that magnetic fluid is lost now, but subconsciously we are still searching for it. And this is why I said in the last video, they take advantage of it and they create drugs like ecstasy, and then they send these young children, they go to school for years and years and years in these prison camps, and then because they go to these prison camps for years and years and years, in the prison camps they have the love and the light, deliberately make sure that doesn't grow in them. So then when they leave that, there's a subconscious in there that's searching for that longing for that ecstatic blissful state. So what do? They create drugs like ecstasy, which is in alignment with this positive heat here. Yeah, it's aligned with this positive heat. So then what happens is you will feel the initial sensations, but then that will diminish again, and then you will start to oxidize. That's how that works, and that's why they create this situation here, because you see they use the Father's heat, his heat here with this death, and this heat creates this IR, Yeah, see this IR, the IR is 9, but it's IR heat that comes from the earth, which is magnetism. If you lie down on it on your stomach, this is what certain animals, see, this is what I mean with saying animals, they know this. So the lions and stuff, they lie on their stomach on the earth and it heals them. It's healing them, yeah, because of the IR heat that's coming up in alignment with your blood